All right, all right. Welcome to NFL Week 11 preview, college football free plays, joined by my good friend and expert, Mason Ledford. Mason,
I wouldn't
thank you
say
for
all
joining
that.
me. Mason, how's your
It's
week
always
been?
fun. Week's been good. Last week of college football right now,
Oh yeah,
so
you're excited. You're excited.
wrapping
I,
that up.
as you can see, me and him are both Bostoned up. He's got his Pat jersey on, ready for the game. I just
Big
kind of
night.
coincidentally wore this hat, so that means we're on the same page. It's going to be a great week. How was your week 10?
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. It was the
It
worst
was
week I've
rough.
had. I went with a lot of spreads, a lot of favorited spreads, and it didn't really work out too well for me. So hopefully we'll bounce back. But I don't know.
Yeah, I had another like solid week of picks, but a losing week because I was overexposed to one team, being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the third time this happened this year where I've had a solid week, but I just had too much liability to one team. And you live and you learn, and I don't know why I did that to myself because my mind is in the right spot. I'm picking good. I'm picking winners. I'm picking good picks, but being overexposed to one team, the Bucks last week, cost me. So hopefully it'll be another. Keep rolling. My head's in the right spot, like I'm saying, but I'll bounce back. You ready to get into this week's slate?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we'll start with week 11. Kevin just walked in the door. What's up, Kevin?
Big
We'll start with
Kev.
tonight's game. Patriots 7-point favorites in Atlanta. You're a Patriots fan. Tell me about this game.
I love it. I think the Pats are in a great spot. They're getting close to being able to control their own destiny. The AFC is so tight. They're half a game out of the AFC East. And the Falcons they got rolled last week by the Cowboys. They're not showing any signs of speeding up, clicking, anything like that. I think the Patriots cover here. I know it's prime time, tough spot to play, but I'm just confident with their defense. The offense is starting to click, and they're looking good. So I'm all on the Pats here.
Yeah, and the Patriots week after week are proving that they're still the Patriots. They're still going to be a contender in the AFC and going to be a problem.
Yep.
We got a comment saying ATL. I don't hate that at all. I don't know if they're going to win, but I think this is going to be closer. I think this is going to be a close game. I will not be surprised at all if they cover. Um, Matt Ryan's a veteran quarterback. He's played the Patriots before in the past. I think this is a little bit of a get back game from the Super Bowl 4 years ago. I think they still have revenge, even though it's a different team. I think they're want to beat the Patriots, and I don't know if they will because this Patriots team, especially their defense, is legit, and they're going to take away Kyle Pitts for sure. I already know they're going to take away Kyle Pitts. So if Atlanta's going to beat them, it's going to have to be Matt Ryan with uh, a secondary receiver. There's no Calvin Ridley. It's going to have to be what's his name, Russell Gage, or that guy with a really long last name, and the running back. So I think if Atlanta's going to have to do it with their secondary weapons. But I'm expecting a tight game here. You ready to move on, or you have any other comments?
Now let's go.
All right, Packers 1.5 point favorites head to Minnesota. A bit of an overreaction, in my opinion, to the Vikings beating the Chargers. I mean, they're going to be without Aaron Jones, but the Packers, week after week, are showing that they are complete. The defense is the best Green Bay defense I can remember in my lifetime. What's your thoughts on this game?
I agree with you. I think the spread's a little too close. I think it is just an overreaction to the Vikings. Um, I think the Packers do have the best defense, probably that Aaron Rodgers has ever had. Um, I like them in the long haul, like just
Hmm.
off track here for a second, but
No, I agree. I
back to the
totally
game.
agree.
Yeah, I like them here. I don't see them having a problem covering this spread. It's a small spread. Um, Not saying it won't be a close game. Probably will be, but the
Vikings
Packers are
love
just
close
going to
games. We know
come out on
that.
top. Yeah, they always play close games, but I don't think the Packers are going to drop one to the Vikings here.
Yeah, I think the Packers will win this game. I bet Packers team total over 26.5. The Vikings defense they win in shootouts. I know last week there was a little bit more low scoring with the Chargers, but it wasn't like low scoring. They did limit the Chargers offense, but I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will roll. They're inside. There's going to be no weather issues. I think the Packers will be able to score more than 28 points or 26.5 points. And ultimately win this game in the end. All right, we'll move on to an AFC South showdown. Titans and the Texans. Titans are 10-point home favorites. What's your thoughts on this game?
I don't know. This game is like I know the Texans are bad, and the Titans. It seems like they're just wishy washy. I mean, without Derrick Henry, I don't really think that they are what they were, obviously, but this would be one of those ones where I wouldn't be scared to bet like Texans plus 10 here. Even though it's in Tennessee, the Titans can win big, but I just think it'll be one of those like ugly type games, ground and pound, and I feel like the Texans will cover this. But
yeah, it will be raining in Nashville this Sunday, so that's one reason I'm weird to lay the 10. But the thing that's I'm liking about the Titans is they just got through a gauntlet. They just played the Chiefs, the Colts, the Rams, the Saints, and the Bills. 5 consecutive games, and they won all of them. So now they go Titans, Patriots, Jags, Steelers, Niners, Dolphins, Texans. A lot easier than what they just played.
a nice back
so
half for
they
sure.
got through the gauntlet of their schedule, and now they're getting some more of the easier. I mean, they have like Patriots, Steelers, 49ers in there, but they should be coasting to possibly a 1 seed in the AFC, which is huge this season because only one team gets the bye. So there's no room to let up for any team, especially if you're at the top, because there's a bunch of teams in the AFC that are right behind them. I don't think they will let up. I mean, 10 points is a divisional game. I'm not laying the 10 points, but I do think they're going to win. I do think I already have teased them down to pick them in a 3-team 10-pointer, but that's all I have on them. Nothing more. But I do think they're going to win this game ultimately. Anything else in this game?
Mm-mm.
All right, Niners 6.5-point favorites head across the country, head to Jacksonville. Off of a big win, off of a big Monday night win. Not really a great spot for the 49ers. I definitely won't be laying them on the 6.5, but doesn't mean I'm going to bet the Jaguars. But it's not the best spot for the 49ers. What are you thinking?
I agree with you there. Like you said, they're coming off of a huge primetime win, but
A blowout too.
yeah. But the Jags, I'm not saying like they're playing great football, but they've been in the past few games they've played. So, like you said, I wouldn't lay this spread. I mean, I'm not expecting the Jags to win, but I don't have the confidence in the Niners right now to lay a spread like that. Just
Right. I'm not expecting the Jags to win by any means, but I wouldn't be surprised if they really keep this close and cover like in the end. And
yeah,
is it a case of the 49ers like really being good, or is it a case of the 49ers and Shanahan just having Sean McVay's number? The 49ers have lost 8 straight home games before Monday night, and the last 2 wins are the Rams at home. And obviously the Rams have been a good team, so maybe they just have their number. They beat the Rams 5 straight times. I mean, it's crazy, but it's real. So
it's
who knows?
very real.
And the 49ers are going across the West Coast. Not the best spot. This is more of a pass in my opinion. I did think about teasing them down to a pick 'em, but I'm not gonna do it because I really do think the Jaguars are live here. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna win, but I just pass for me.
definitely.
All right, we'll move on
Agreed.
to Baltimore off of an ugly Thursday night game. Head to Chicago, back-to-back road games. This I feel like this is gonna be a good game. What are you thinking?
I think it'll be a good game. The Bears are a feisty team, and the Ravens defense is like, I don't know, they're in like a tough
They're
spot right
weird.
now. They haven't been playing too well, but then they'll show signs of just being dominant. So I feel like you can't exactly trust the Ravens D right now.
The Ravens D is so weird, dude. It's the
It's
opposite of bend but don't break. It's break but don't bend. They allow the big plays and then they stop them and they hold them to field. It's so weird.
yeah,
I don't know. They're
they
like
show a
a
lot of flashes of greatness,
yeah.
but
I do
when it
think the
comes
Ravens will bounce
on,
back though. What were you saying?
I agree. I agree. I think dropping one to the Dolphins on Thursday night was tough. It was almost like a wake up call that they didn't really know they needed, kind of. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this is going to trigger them. And like honestly, for the rest of the season, I think the Ravens are going to come different. I think their defense is going to start playing well. Um, Lamar has been playing great, so I'm not really going to put it on him. But the offense as a whole, I think, is just going to try to slow it down a little bit and just play what they know. And I think this game is going to be a big game for them to just show the league that they're woke, they're ready to
Yeah.
roll. So
I feel like this is gonna be good all around. The Bears off of a game they probably should have won. Was that in Pittsburgh Monday night or Sunday night? What, 2 weeks ago or something like that?
yeah,
So I thought about Ravens minus. I had it at 4.5 earlier. Ravens minus 4.5, but I'm passing that game. I do think they'll win though. Close game. Low total. I expect this to be a grind, both sides, but it's going to be an interesting one to watch and keep our eyes on because the Bears are pretty much out of the playoff picture, but they're going to keep playing. They have a rookie quarterback. They got a lot to play for down the road in Chicago. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So, we'll move on to another one expect to be a good game. Rematch
this is
of
going to be a
last
good game.
year's AFC divisional game, I believe. Divisional wasn't. Yeah, I think it was the second round of the playoffs. Colts head to Buffalo. Buffalo's 7-point favorites, and off the glance, I think 7 points is too much.
Yeah, I agree that 7 points is too much. I mean, the Colts are a good football
Good.
team. They don't lose. They don't get blown out.
They don't. I
Every
was. Yeah,
game
they don't
they're
get
in
blown
is
out.
good. They've beat good teams. I mean, the Bills are the Bills. Like they're probably the top team in the AFC right now. If you really had to pick, but like you said, this is going to be a great game. I think the Bills come out on top, but not. I don't think they're covering a 7 point spread.
Yeah, and like those teams that have the Bills are very weird. They're very volatile. They can blow any team out, and they can keep any game really close and like lose. So I know it is in Buffalo. I don't think weather will be an issue off the top of my head, but I'll double check that. Um, but at the end of the day, I think Colts more their defense than Carson Wentz keeps this within 7, keeps it tight. Wouldn't be surprised if they come out on top in Buffalo because they should have won that game in the last year. I remember they had the ball at like second and goal at the 1 yard line and didn't score any points last year, and they ended up losing by like 3 or 4. So it's going to be close, I imagine. We'll move on to the next game. This is basically a Carolina reunion. You got Cam Newton, Ron Rivera of Washington, a bunch of old Panthers players that are now on the football team, all heading to Charlotte for a game. Huge, both teams coming off huge wins. Carolina blew out Arizona in Arizona. What football team beat the Bucs at home, and now they meet. I expect this game to be boring but exciting on the last drive.
I agree. I think it'll be like a slow game, nothing crazy. Cam's starting though, isn't he? They were giving him most of the first
Cam
team
is
reps.
as of now. Cam is starting, I believe. Yeah. So we don't know how that will go.
Right. I don't know how that'll go, but if I'm Cam, I'm coming out hot. Like I'm trying
Oh
to make
yeah.
plays. The football team is very vulnerable without Chase Young. They just
Oh
lost
yeah. I
the
totally
best
forgot.
player on their team, so a a -3 flat spread isn't as scary to me as like 4.5 or something like that. I wouldn't be scared to lay this, honestly. Worst
No.
case scenario, you push maybe, but I think it'll be a good game to watch. It'll be fun to watch Cam Newton back behind center for Carolina. So I'm excited for this actually.
Yeah. Cam's facing his old coach. It should be good. And we never really we haven't seen Cam in like fully in under Joe Brady, who came from LSU and it was like his offensive guru. So I don't know. We don't know. Maybe Cam can get back to his old form. I mean, I hope. You know me, I'm a Panthers fan, and I'm a
Yeah.
Cam hater. I'm not a hater, but I just don't see him being good. I would love him to be good. I root for him. I want him to be great, but I don't see it. I think the Panthers will win this game, especially off of that really big. I think it was a bigger win for the football team than it was the Panthers because the Cardinals were without so many guys that it was
Yeah.
like it was what it was. But nonetheless, should be a good game. Excited to see. Panthers also control their own destiny. They are, I think, the 7th seed right now, and they have some winnable games. So, all right, we'll move on to Detroit coming off of a tie. Heads to Cleveland, going to be very, very windy. I think this is too many points. What are you thinking?
100% agree. I would bet Lions plus 11 outright. I think both of us had them as the underdog last week to beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
The plus 8 covered, but the
Yeah.
tie is just funny. Like, I find that hilarious that the Lions, out of anyone, tied the Steelers. But yeah, this is way too many points. The Browns got blown out last week. They're just kind of all over the place right now, and the Lions have proven that they can stick with a good football team. So I like them plus 11 here.
Yeah, I'm expecting this to be a lot closer than the books and Vegas think. I mean, there's no. Are they still without Chubb? I'm not sure, but either way,
Chubb's he's questionable.
He's questionable. Yeah, I think this is going to be a closer game. The Lions are probably the best winless team through 10 weeks that I've ever seen. They have a huge question at quarterback, but Dan Campbell is very competent, and he's realizing, which they didn't realize last year, that you need to get the ball in the hands of your best player, DeAndre Swift, and they're doing that. He's getting a lot of touches, and he's making things happen as he should, because he is a very good football player. And if they continue to keep feeding him, it'll open up. They got to be run first, even not even if it's run first, think first, then it'll open up the deeper passing game. So if they can keep that going against obviously a really good Browns defense, but I think this will be a close game. I don't know if the Lions win. I think it'll be close. All right, you ready to move on to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, next game, Dolphins off of a massive win, home against Baltimore, head to Jets with Joe Flacco at quarterback. What's going to happen here?
Joe Flacco under center. I love it. I think he's going to do well. I think the Jets are going to win this game. I don't like the Dolphins as a favorite here.
No.
I just don't like the Dolphins in general, but I know they're coming off a big home win, but in my opinion, it was more of a fluke game than anything. So honestly, I like the Jets here, but I think it'll be a funny game to watch.
Yeah,
it'll probably
I agree.
Be an ugly game.
I agree that the Dolphins did not beat the Ravens last week. The Ravens beat themselves, especially offensively. Because when we watched that whole game together, the Ravens defense did awesome. They literally did awesome. I think the Lions, if they scored one touchdown offensively, it was at the very end of the game. They scored and they had that turnover that led to a touchdown or something like that. The Ravens could not do anything on offense, and they just looked incompetent. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing from the play calling point of view. So I would love to see Joe Flacco do well. He's a Jersey guy. I love Joe Flacco. I've always loved him. I loved him when he was on the Ravens. I always like to root for him. So this is going to be a fun one to watch. It might actually not be a fun one to watch, but see some highlights of. And hopefully, I would like to see the Jets come out on top. But I am not touching this game betting-wise.
No
All
way.
right, weird game. Saints head to Philadelphia. I don't even know what to make of the Saints. Week in, week out, they're a different team. I know they don't have Trevor Siemian. I mean, they have Trevor Siemian, who's looked okay at times, but they head to Philly, who is looking okay also. This is a weird game. Both of these teams look wishy-washy each week. What do you think?
It is a weird game. Eagles are coming off a big win on the road in Denver, and then the Saints dropped a close one. So they're both kind of playing almost at the peaks of where they can be. Saints without Jameis.
And Kamara.
Now, is he still out?
As of now, I think he is, but I'm not sure of his status right now. I'll look.
If he is out, I like the Eagles here, just strictly almost because of home field advantage. Like, playing in Philly's tough, atmosphere is tough, and when a Philly team's playing good in Philly, I feel like the home field advantage there is super impactful. So I like them here if Alvin Kamara's not playing.
Yeah, he didn't practice today, so that's obviously not a great sign for Kamara. And like we said with Swift, like for the Lions, the Eagles have looked awesome the past 2 weeks, and if you look at the fantasy rankings, I know fantasy does. I mean, it does. Fantasy does matter. The number one fantasy receiver the last 2 weeks is Devontae Smith, and that it is touchdown reliant because he has I think he has 3 touchdowns, but they're getting him the ball, and he's obviously an amazing player, and you got to get your best players the ball. They're getting the ball to Devontae Smith. They're winning games and looking a lot better. So, yeah, especially if there's no Kamara. I know the Saints defense is elite. They're really good, but if Hurts can just be okay, it doesn't have to be great. Be okay. I think they could be enough for them to pull off the win. And I feel like it seems like it'd be an upset, but like they're favorites and they should. I feel like they should win at home, but I'm not going to
Yeah,
touch this game. Most likely.
fair enough.
All right. Weird game. Cincinnati Bengals, who are on a downward slope right now, head to Vegas, who's also on a downward slope. A lot going on in the Vegas organization, from coaches to players. It's just been a mess. And I'm happy. I mean, I'm not happy that it's happening, but I'm happy that it was happening last week because I unloaded on the Chiefs and cashed easily.
My
So
God.
what do you think? What do you think happens here? They feel like the wrong team's favorite in my opinion, but
I kind of like. I agree that I feel like the wrong team's favorited, but I think the Raiders getting blown out last week by what was a struggling Chiefs team kind of just brought their stock down a little bit, maybe. And the Bengals are coming off a bye, if I'm
they are.
correct. So
They are.
I mean, a 1 point spread, it's pretty much just any team can win it, and that's what I think it is. I think it'll just be whatever team comes out and plays better football, which could be the Bengals coming off a bye, but could be the Raiders getting blown out, coming back, bouncing back at home. So I don't know what to think of this game.
Well, what you just said perfectly leads into my next point. I think both of these teams will and need to come out hot. I played the first half over 24.5. I see that more like it should be 28.5. So I did the first half over 24.5, and I teased the over in a teaser. I liked this over too, 50.5, but the first half over just was a better number, and I think both of these teams come out hot. So I'm not gonna pick a side because I wouldn't be surprised if this goes either way, but I'm riding the over.
Yeah,
I don't really ever play totals. I'm not really a totals guy, but I did play the first half over here.
I like that.
All right, we'll move on to could be the game of the week, could be the game of the year. Cowboys head to Chiefs, who are 2.5 point favorites. If this was in Dallas, I feel like it'd just be 2.5 point favorites for Dallas. I feel like this is just home field advantage, which is why they're the favorite. Maybe like 1.5 if it was in Dallas, but either team wins this game. The Chiefs the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs last week, and you saw it from the first drive. They looked like the Chiefs, and I knew as soon as that happened, I was watching it, and I was like, okay, this. I already got the vibe. I live bet him, and I live bet him heavily last week because I just got the vibe. It was different than we've seen all last week. But the
Yeah,
Cowboys, who I liked from week one, um, are proving to be one of the best teams in the NFL. I think if they played the Bucks again, like this week, they'd beat the Bucks. Which they didn't week one. But yeah, this is gonna be a good game. What are you thinking?
I agree with you. This has the potential to be like game of the year. Cowboys are arguably the most consistent team in football. They had a rough week, dropping one
Which
to
is
the
fine. Which
Broncos.
is so fine. You're
Every
gonna
team
have bad weeks.
does.
Mhm.
Um, but last week was definitely such a confidence boost for the Chiefs. Like they needed the one
Yeah.
game. We've been saying it every week. The
Yep.
one game is all they need. I think everyone on that team got their swagger back, and I
Oh,
think I think
like
Patrick Mahomes is gonna do it again. Like you walk around with a different attitude when you're playing good football. But I think it'll be a great game. But I do like the Chiefs at home here.
yeah. I'm hoping for a shootout. What I did in this game was I don't really
Oh
often do
yeah,
this.
I'd be a all right. Keep
I
going.
did, I did the 6 point teaser Dallas plus 8.5 with the over.
I like
So
that. I like the over in this game. It'll
yeah,
definitely it has to be a shootout
I
because
I, wr- I wrote it down
the
to
only way the
59.
Cowboys stay in this game is if they score points.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the
And
Chiefs,
defense is not nothing.
right? So
What was huge last week was uh Deshaun Jackson fumbling because you remember they were driving, and Deshaun Jackson caught like a 30-yard pass over the middle. Could have scored, like literally made a move and scored, but the ball got punched out, and Chiefs recovered, and that really flipped the game. So I don't really see it's more the Chiefs defense stopping this offense. So I think this is going to go back and forth. Hopefully I think 8.5 points is going to be safe. I think this is going to be a close shootout. Yeah. Anything
I
else
like
in this
it.
game?
Yeah. No.
All right, we'll move on to the final 4 o'clock game. Cardinals. I'm expecting Kyler to come back, head to Seattle, and it's now or never for the Seahawks. They're 3-6. They still the bottom half of the NFC is wide open. They still can do it. Cardinals have lost 2 out of 3, but they're getting their guy back in Kyler Murray. I'm not sure about D Hop. I'm pretty sure Kyler's coming back. He said he controls his own destiny in his last press conference, but so and I feel like he was saving himself, and they were saving him for this week because they thought they would
Yeah.
just beat the Panthers easily. So what are you thinking here?
I like what you said about the Seahawks. Like, it's almost an now or never. If they want to make a solid playoff push, this would be the game to turn it around. I think this would be the type of game that Russell Wilson would have to perform well, gain some confidence back, and take that into the back half of the season. But if Kyler comes back, it's almost the same thing for him. He's got to find his groove again. Being out for 2 weeks, that's tough. It's tough to come bounce back right away and play at the level that you were playing before. So, I don't know what to think of this game. It all depends on quarterback play for both teams.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put anything on it, but it comes down to whatever quarterback comes out.
Yeah, so
And
what
plays
I
better.
did here was risky, but because Kyler's status is still uncertain, but whatever team comes out hot, I expect both of them to come out hot and then answer off that. I took the Cardinals first half team total over 12.5. One, the number I feel like is too low,
It's pretty
and
low.
two, I feel like both of these offenses can score fast. So if one scores, I feel like the other one can score fast. But I think the Cardinals will score at least 13, 14 points in the first half, especially with Kyler. And I don't hate this over 48 at all. I didn't play it, but I don't hate it at all. But
Yeah,
besides that, I wouldn't really touch a side because I couldn't see it going either way.
agreed.
All right, we'll head on to Sunday Night Football. Steelers head. I don't. Well, I wish this wasn't a Sunday Night Football game, but Steelers head to LA and face the back and forth Chargers, who are 5.5 point favorites. What's your thoughts here?
You know, I think for a Sunday night game, that's too many points. Looking at how the Chargers have been playing, um, I don't think they're going to come out and blow up the scoreboard. The Steelers' defense is good. Chargers haven't been playing well, and the Steelers have been playing good enough to stay within 5.5 points. I feel like they're a gritty team as it is. So I don't like the Chargers covering. I think they can win, but
Yeah,
I don't like the spread here.
I don't. I probably will pass this game completely. The Chargers are a volatile team. They have the capability to go crazy and blow teams out, but they also have the ability to like the Bills. They have the ability to play teams really close. But Chargers are going to be without Minka, I believe, and their secondary is kind of hurt. It's the D line that does it and the linebackers that do it for the Steelers. So I don't know what to make of this game. I could really see it going either way. More than likely will be a pass, but I got 2 days to think it over more. But as of
Yeah.
now, I don't really have too much conviction either way on this side. All right, we'll move to Monday Night Football. It's going to be an emotional one. Tom Brady faces one of his least favorite teams, but probably one of his most respected teams. He faces the Giants, head back home off of 2 straight losses plus a bye. I think it's time for the Bucks to figure it out.
Yeah. It's a big bounce back spot for the Bucks, dropping 2 in a row. I mean, they got to keep rolling because no spot in the NFL is guaranteed right now.
Right.
So they got to get it going. But I don't know if you saw the stuff that just came out about AB,
AB, yeah.
and I don't know as of now if that's gonna like play any role into his playing on
Status.
Sunday, but if it does, I think that's tough because the Giants defense isn't bad.
No, not at
Um,
all.
I don't know. I think they'll struggle to score points, but um, 11 points is a lot of points.
Yeah,
Um, I wouldn't like betting on a 11-point spread here. I think it'll be like a decent
especially
game.
it's prime time too, so they've been close.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
what were you saying?
I was just saying that there's a potential for the Bucks to continue to kind of play a little bit of a lackluster offensive game. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like you said, the Giants defense being good and they could struggle on offense. I looked at the totals, the team total. Bucks team total was 31.5, and I'm scared. I would be scared of that hook, honestly, because it's a key number. 31's a key number. So, I mean, but the past few weeks before their slump, it's been like 33.5, 35.5, and it's been hitting. But it's been struggling recently. Well, I remember we talked last week, and I said I had a big play. I was going Bucks first half -5. Obviously, that didn't hit. They looked like shit against the Redskins. But I'm going right back to the well. Bucks first half -6.5. Look, like I think I think they got to come out really hot, and I think they will. They have the best quarterback of all time in the locker room, and when he gets down, he doesn't mess around. I think they're going to come out hot again against a team that is feisty and they play good on the road, the Giants, but they are head and shoulders more talented and better than them. So I'm hoping to Bucks will come out hot and have a nice halftime lead.
Yep, I agree.
All right, so that is the entire slate. I have three college football plays, and these are the hottest things on Twitter right now. They just have won the past like 4 weeks, I think. So first one we'll get into is Washington State team total over 34.5. That's actually tomorrow night, so get that in soon. It's 2 unit play. They play at home against Arizona, and ever since the Washington State football team has fired their coach for not getting vaccinated, they have been a new team. They have been firing on all cylinders. Uh, they upset a team 2 weeks ago and they won last week. And they're playing Arizona, one of the worst teams, definitely the worst team in the Pac 12, top 10 worst team in college football, maybe. 34.5 is not enough points. I feel like at home, I feel like they keep rolling. And I also like the spread here, but I'm going to take the team total. I think this is a good number. Next game I had is UAB +4.5. And UAB is playing the darling of America, UTSA. They are ranked in the top 25. Everyone wants them to be ranked higher. They're one of, I think, 2 or 3 undefeated teams left. But UTSA has not played anyone as good as this UAB team yet. I think UAB can win this game outright on the road, but I will take the 4.5 points. And my final free play is LSU laying 30 at home versus Louisiana Monroe, who just about maybe one of the worst teams in college football. I don't know why, but these SEC schools play like random teams like in the middle of November every single year. Alabama just played New Mexico State last week. Tennessee plays New Mexico State this week. And these SEC schools do this in November. I really don't know why. It's kind of like they have it's like a mini bye, but they just roll them. I don't think 30 is enough. I think LSU will win by 40, 45 plus. So that's the three college football free plays. Went through the entire NFL slate. You have any questions? Feel free to DM us. Anything else you got like to add, Mace?
Yeah, low key, just I don't I'm not like a big college football guy. I don't get to watch it, but I looked at the slate. You got Michigan State at Ohio State. It's a 19-point spread, and
Mhm.
I don't know if that's like a valid spread or not. I wanted to just ask you about it because I feel like but Ohio
Yeah,
State's favored by 19 against Michigan State, and it's like
they
a
were
top 10
also
matchup.
they were favored by 19 or 18 against Penn State too. It's because it's at Ohio State. Penn State ended up covering that game when I bet Penn State. What I'm doing for this game, I didn't put it in yet, but I do think Michigan State will cover. But I'm betting Ohio State team total under 43.5. Ohio State is one of the best offenses in the country, but and they scored 50 plus or 45 plus last week against Purdue, but Michigan State has a pretty solid defense. and a lot better than Purdue. I don't think they're going to score 43.5, and I like the number. If they score 42, that's fine. So yeah, that's what I bet 40 under 43.5. Michigan State has to basically win out if they want to do anything exciting at the end of the season. So they're going to be playing really hard. I would lean them to cover, but Ohio State is getting better and can score at will. But their problem is they can't stop anyone. And Kenneth Walker and this Michigan State offense are
Yeah,
solid. So I definitely like the spread, but I'm going to go with the Ohio State team total under.
I like that. Game just stood out to me, so
Yeah.
just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's anything. That's everything. If you have any
Yep.
questions, feel free to DM us. Mason, thank you for joining me again. And I'll talk
Always a
to you
good
soon.
time, bro. Yes,
Yep.
sir.